Yeah, I mean, I was listening to this guy, and I said, what the hell is he talking about?
Good morning, everybody. This is Jim Feist, and I've got on the phone here with me Money Mike. Mike, we haven't done a podcast in 5 or 6 months. Of course, there hasn't been any major USA-based sports for all that time. I've been doing some foreign stuff from Korea and all over the world. But and we have golf back, and that's interesting. We're going to have baseball starts today. We're going to have a small card today and bigger card tomorrow, and then in a week we got the NBA, we got the NHL, we got MLS, which is the soccer league. So we're coming back. And how you been doing the last 5 months, Mike?
Well, Jim, I've been keeping busy. I haven't really been betting on much. I've done some horse racing bets, but I will get into baseball when it starts today. I'm not a hockey or NBA guy as far as making bets on that, but I just keep myself busy. Yoga, different things. I have a lot of friends. I get out a little bit, and I've been doing a little bit of studying for the NFL. I've been looking at the point spreads that came out a few months ago for Week 1, and I've been trying to figure out how the fans will affect the game. No fans, some fans, and I think that's going to be a big part of the NFL. I don't believe they need these exhibition games, even though I'd like to see maybe one or two, just so they can they can see some new players that may pop up that they may not get a chance to see now, because they're really just going to be practicing and different workouts at their facility till the season gets underway September 10th. But I haven't seen any updated lines, or when I did look, they seem to stay the same from a few months back when they came out. So I guess those lines are going to be that way, unless when they decide how many fans, maybe there'll be a little change in some of the numbers. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. But I would say with the NFL, you're going to have to wait till Saturday or Sunday probably to bet, because if somebody gets a virus and isn't able to play, that definitely would change the number. Your opinion on the game.
No question about that. I will not be putting much money out there early in the week, because the virus impact on late game situation. I mean, you get an offensive lineman or two get the virus and they have to sit out. Now you got, everybody would focus on the quarterbacks, but it can go down to any position: offensive line, defensive line, the sack leader. So you're going to have to really stay tuned to the injuries, the updates on who's going to play, who isn't, maybe up to an hour or two before game time. It's going to be a lot different. As far as the fans are concerned, I'm not really too concerned about that, because I know a place like Seattle where you could have the 12th man advantage because of the noise level. That's going to make a significant difference to a team like that, because they don't have that. And but most of your home fields are 2.5 points. Some aren't at all, because they're just bad teams and they don't get much following. But a team like Seattle with a monster home field advantage in the past. I mean, recently it hasn't been that much, but those things are a lot different. And the road team has travel issues, of course, and that's the negative. It's much easier to sleep at home and stay at home. But the road team disadvantage is still in them. So, I mean, I've listened to a lot of people say that maybe the home team has an advantage of maybe 1.5, 2 points at the most in a situation like that. It can fluctuate, and we'll have to go week to week to see how it holds up. I mean, we have the same thing in baseball. They're not going to have home field advantage either in the form of fans, but they don't have the travel issue. So, you got that also. So you'll probably see a lot more road favorites, and I think a lot of the sharp players are going to be taking advantage of road teams if they see the lines are inflated towards the home teams.
Yeah, I hear you, Jim. But like you said, I believe Seattle, Kansas City, and the Saints are the strong home teams that really matter. with the fans. But like you said, we have to wait and see. It could be a week-to-week thing where I'm hearing, some place are going to have 12,000 fans, some 20,000, some nobody. But to me, that's not even a big amount, really. You know what I'm in my mind. So I'm going to look to play a lot of road teams and a lot of dogs. That's the opinion I'm under. So we'll just have to wait and see. Like you said, it'll be a week-to-week thing, and somebody have the virus, somebody doesn't. Whatever it's going to be. It's going to be very interesting. It's guys like me and you for 40, 50 years betting sports. This is going to be a year like we've never seen. So we're going to have to be on our toes and get a lot of information and make the right moves. You know what I'm saying? But start out slow, and then once you have a feel for the season, if it's running more to form, then you can step it up with your wagers and all, and hope you're on the right side.
Well, absolutely. I know one thing in the beginning. I'm going to be cutting my bet sizes and volume of bets down because there's just too many questions. I'm not going to go to a crap table and roll dice. I like to have an edge when I make a bet. And right. I think the edge is, unless you have great inside information, which we will occasionally have that because we have connections, but it's not going to be an everyday thing. But if you know that Mahomes isn't going to play today because he tested positive last night and it's not in the number, I mean, that's a monster difference. But you're not going to get that kind of information that easily or that quickly unless you have connections. And I'm not saying I have them, but occasionally we will hear things, and some of it will hold up and some of it won't. But, we had baseball today. We got the Yankees are playing at Washington. You got the Giants playing the Dodgers. And we have a weather issue in Washington. Possibly they could rain that game out because it is a big storm on the East Coast. But be that as it may, it's Cole against Scherzer. That's a monster matchup. We don't know what's going to happen coming out of the gate, but usually pitchers have an advantage. But here's this thing about when you talk about pitchers, they're going to have a pitch count on these guys because you're not going to see these guys going past 3-4 innings for the most part early in the season like that. So it'll come down to bullpens. For me, what that means to me is I'm going to be betting a lot of first 5 innings. Not every book takes those kind of bets, but most of them do now, and I'm going to be betting a lot of first 5s because that's where I'm going to know the starter, who's in there and who the price is made for, rather than going to the bullpen, who God only knows what you're going to get out of the bullpen, especially early in the season. So that's one of the plans that I have for baseball.
Yeah, I agree with you because I know I mentioned it to you one time when we had lunch. I said the first 5 innings is the best way to play because this way you do away with the bullpens because no pitchers with the pitch count or not, how many go 9 innings anymore? Those days are over. So maybe you get 6 or 7 if you're lucky, and now you're dealing with the bullpen, and 2-3 run lead is not safe, and I will be involved with the Nationals today if they play because I like the matchup and I like it's a good price for a dog, and even though they lost Rendon, they're still the baseball champs from last year, and now they get to use the designated hitter, which I think will help National League teams because they haven't been able to use it at all. So, that's a little maybe an edge for them. No fans, we understand all that, but I think the first 5 innings is the best play. You just stay away from those bullpens, and after 5, if you have the winner, you're good. If not, but you don't have to sweat it out in that 8th, 9th inning, or who's going to come in, and now you got to pitch to 3 batters. You can't come in and pitch to just one guy. There's no more one-batter specialist, a lefty, a righty on a righty, whatever. Now you got to stay in for 3 batters. So that even makes, to me, the bullpen even more dangerous as far as, a handicap not working in your favor,
100% agree. I mean, that is the approach that I'm going to be taking for my customers, at least early on, and if it proves successful, I'll continue it. It's only a 60 game league this year, and we hope we can get through 60. It would be interesting to see. It's an entertainment game, and we're not going to look at this year as being normal, because it's certainly, hopefully, this isn't the new normal, and I don't want it to be the new normal. And when you get down to football, there's a lot of issues with football, even more so than and baseball, because the teams aren't sequestered. You have some teams that are playing in a bubble, and they might have things a little bit more under control because they don't constantly have to be traveling, checking into this place or that place, and being on airplanes. So, it's going to, let's put it this way. The virus is in charge. We haven't managed it well. And we're bound to have problems throughout the next 6 months, at least, with the virus until we get a vaccine or we cut down on some of these cases. The cases are terrible. And, there's a lot of people that are sick. A lot of people are dead. It's a terrible situation, but we're trying to make the best of it and bring back some of the economy, brings back some of the sports. I've been doing a lot of golf, and golf has been managing things very well. And the TV, this past week was a little boring because it kind of got away from everybody. One guy took the lead, and that was it. But the previous weeks, there was a lot of drama. It was good TV, and there's soccer going on around the world, and fortunately, knock on wood, our soccer record's been really good, so that's well. And now we also have Aussie rules football. It's a brutal sport. I've seen a couple of the games, and they are tough. And they're managing things pretty well with the corona and doing a pretty good job with that. So there's a lot of things out there if people want to venture out. I got to tell you this, I think the biggest activity in the sports books has been, early on at least, not right now, but early on, it was Russian ping pong. Now, I've never seen a Russian ping pong match in my life, and it's amazing to me that they were taking so much action on Russian ping pong.
Yeah, I have a personal friend, and you met the fellow one time. He said he cleaned up on Russian ping pong. They had to stop taking his action. But as far as me, I'm more of the American sports, and within the next 2 weeks, we'll have 3 going. We'll have Major League Baseball, hockey, NBA, for us people who like that in the States to bet on. I mean, I wasn't doing, like I said, soccer or anything. I followed some horse tracks like Santa Anita and then Del Mar, and then they closed, and now it's Belmont, and now we got Saratoga. So, but it's on a small nature just to pass some time. But for me, I mainly, NFL, college football, college basketball. They're my main things that I concentrate on, because I think you can't be a winner and do every sport. It's very hard to keep track of everything that's going on. That's just how I feel. And we've been doing this, like I said, 40, 50 years. So, and we're still doing it. So that must mean we had a little bit of success along the way. And let's hope that continues this season.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the NFL, and I'm not going to even bring up college football because God only knows if we even have any games. But we start this year, September 10th is the first game. It's Houston at Kansas City, which is a playback of one of the playoff games, and we see Kansas City open a 10-point favorite. They are at home, and the total 55. I mean, there's a lot of good games, and we've been following what they've done in the draft and and the free agency, and so now we have New England with Tom Brady's gone and he's down in Tampa. Quite frankly, Tom didn't play all that well last year, but he didn't have very much around him. He has a lot more around him now, but he doesn't have Bill Belichick. He doesn't have his offensive coordinator. It's a whole new situation there. You got Miami. There's bets out there that who's going to be the starting quarterback. Is it going to be Tua or Fitzpatrick? And I will tell everybody right now, if you can find a line on it, and this is an official free release by me, Fitzpatrick will start the season unless he gets hurt or gets COVID. He will be the starter. I guarantee it. Unless he is sick or hurt, he will start the season.
I agree with you fully. That's the way to go. You got to let Tua watch and learn from Fitzpatrick. He's a veteran of many years, had a lot of ups and downs, but he plays hard, and he's a smart guy. And like you said, with Brady, I mean, yeah, he has weapons now that he hasn't had before, and Tampa played pretty good defense at the end of the year. I look for them to have a good season. I wouldn't, maybe a playoff team, but I wouldn't go way past that part because I think there's a lot of other teams in the NFC that are going to be a little tougher. And like you said, week one with the Chiefs, the Texans would be my one is a play for me with that 10.5, 10. I mean, that's a lot of points week one. You get the Super Bowl hangover. You're not going to have the fans. The Texans had them on the ropes last year and blew that big lead. I mean, I don't think the Chiefs can have a season, Jim, where they fall behind double digits like they did in the playoffs and the Super Bowl and figure, we could come back and win. I mean, with Mahomes, they're awful dangerous, no doubt about it. But, you give Deshaun Watson that many points week one, a little revenge on their mind, even though we're both not a favorite fan of Bill O'Brien as a coach. But I think the Texans will come out and play hard. And like I said, you got to look for you got to play dogs. And I think that would be the first one for me to look at.
I can't disagree with that. You also have to realize that these teams could be very sloppy early on because they're not going to have the practice time and the repetitions. No OTAs, no preseason games. Yeah, that does cut down on some of the travel and stuff when you don't have the preseason games, so you can do a little bit more practice, but you're not getting real game experience, and this could be a lot out of sync. Now, it is a veteran team, of course, and the Super Bowl champs, so you're not gonna have that much change. But not everybody's going to be at 100 miles an hour like they were last year at the end of the season. So you're going to see a little bit of sloppy play. And, Miami goes up to New England. Cleveland goes to Baltimore. Everybody's talking about, Baltimore, a very good team. Baltimore was 10, 9.5, 10. Now they're 8.5 in this game. And Cleveland comes in with a hell of a roster. But, I think it comes down to Baker Mayfield. Can he be a decent NFL quarterback? He threw a lot of interceptions last year. He had a lot of tipped passes, made a lot of mistakes. They didn't have a very good head coach. I don't know where the hell they pulled that guy out of, but they have a better head coach this year. They built their offensive line. Their defense looks a little stronger. Their wideouts are incredible, and they got a good running game. So Cleveland is a dangerous club. And the last thing we saw out of Baltimore wasn't very impressive in the playoff, but they had a hell of a season. But that's a unique offense. Now, defensive coordinators will have had a long look at what they're doing, and I would guess that they're going to have a little better time shutting down Baltimore offense because they've seen it now so much.
Yeah, I agree with you there. They'll have enough time to see Lamar Jackson in action. And, the Browns and the Dolphins are two of my other plays that I'm on games you had mentioned. I think that, it's tough for the Patriots. I see that line up to 7 now. The Patriots usually start out slow, and to me, I don't care if it's Cam Newton or Stidham. I mean, I don't see a big advantage. Cam, he had good years, 5-6 years ago, but the last couple have not been well. He hasn't done well. He's been injured, and I just think he's a little bit soft myself. I really do. I think he's a soft player, and I think that plays into it. And the Dolphins, I think, are going to be on the uptick a little bit. So I think, a touchdown's a lot of points in a division game. The same with the Browns, 8.5, 9. But Baker's the key. Is he going to graduate now? Is he going to move on up? They're giving him talent. There's players around him on that offense. The defense is no slouch. You got a better coach now. I mean, every year we're hearing the Browns, this is the year, this is the year. I mean, we got to see it to believe it, But I just think in that game, that's a big amount of points against a team that likes to run the ball and run the clock. So, to give almost double digits, it's hard to get that kind of lead in a game like that when you're playing more, a running game and you're killing the clock a little bit. It slows things down, So there's not as many points out there that you would normally get in a game, I feel.
Yeah, you're right. Are there any other NFL games that you want to discuss? I know we can't go down the whole card, but it's still 6 weeks away, or even 7.
I'll tell you what I'm looking at. I said the Texans, Dolphins, Browns. I'm leaning with Arizona, getting 8 points from the Niners. I believe Arizona will be improved, and Kyler Murray ended the season pretty good. They pick up the receiver from the Texans, which should help. And the Niners, coming off the Super Bowl, it's still a big number, over a touchdown division game. I like Brady on the road, getting 4.5. Like I said, with no fans in the Superdome, he's going to come out to play. Breeze. I think the Saints are one of them teams. They always start out slow, either in the beginning of the season or like in the first game, the first quarter or so. They start out slow, and you're going to be looking at 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and you could catch 4 or 4.5 if you get lucky. I feel they're a solid play. So that's 5 dogs. And my 2 favorites I lean a little bit to are the Chargers on the road because you're going against Joe Burrow, Bengals first game, rookie. The Chargers defense should be able to do something with him, with Bosa, and I forget the other linebacker they have, but their defense is not bad. Now you're going to, I just think that's a tough spot for Joe Burrow, and I like the Steelers Monday night on the road. I think Big Ben's going to come back, have something to prove. The Giants haven't showed me much. I don't know, to get a new coach every couple years. I just don't see, besides the good running back they have, I'm just saying they're 2 road favorites. I don't like to lay 3.5 with road teams, but I'm just thinking that those 2 home teams are not that strong, So maybe there are 2 plays that are on my list. They're not a definite. Those other 5, the dogs, I'm definitely going to go with. That's what it looks like for me, Jim, for week 1.
Well, we're still 7 weeks out, but I can't disagree with any of your dog plays. As far as the road favorites, I would probably go with the Chargers. I don't know that I would. I have to see a little bit out of Roethlisberger. He's been off a year, and I got to see what kind of shape he's in coming in. And I'm not a Giant. I'm not promoting the Giants here, but I'm not going to. Like you said, when the game's over 3.5 on the road, I'm not worried about the fans, but New York fans are more likely to boo their home team than cheer them anyway.
Well, there'll be no fans there for positively, they said.
Right.
New York.
You're right. Well, Mike, this is good. We'll do more of these. I don't know how often, but whatever you're available, and I appreciate your time. And
anytime, Jim.
Now maybe we'll even do some from the restaurant. And why don't you tell everybody a little bit about the restaurant? So give a little plug to Albert and everything he's doing.
Well, my brother owns Dom DeMarco's on West Charleston Avenue. They've been in business since 2011. They have the best New York pizza in the city of Las Vegas. They go by the name of DeMarco, which is associated with people that have had a pizza business, have a pizza business in Brooklyn, New York for probably around 50 years. So, they use their recipe. They filter the water in just like they do in New York to give it the extra taste, to make the dough crisp and all. And they have a great Italian menu, pasta, pizza, salads. It's all very good. A lot of homemade desserts. Like I said, they've been in business going on 9 years. They've been very successful. And my brother's the maitre d' there, and he's a food expert, and it's a good place. Me and Jim frequent it often, and like I said, they've been in business 9 years. If you could stay in business in Las Vegas with a restaurant for that long, that tells you that you have a winning recipe, and we'd appreciate anybody, to go and try it and give us your opinion.
I'll tell you, the best pizza in Las Vegas, in my opinion, and I like their other dishes too. I like the salmon, and they have a great Mediterranean salad. And even the stracciatella soup is awesome. So I really like being there. I visit there with Mike and Albert, and we'll probably do some live shows from there too, or live taping at least. and while we're having lunch sometimes. And it'll be fun. Hopefully we have a football season. Hopefully the virus will slow down a little bit, and we'll be able to have, in the restaurant dining, which we still have right now, and hopefully that doesn't close down. Hopefully the cases go down and not so many people are passing away. It's a terrible situation, but it is what it is, and we have to live with it and wear your mask, wash your hands, stay distant, and maybe we can close this thing down a little bit and have a good season in all these sports. And Mike, again, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Jim. Everybody, stay safe.
All right, buddy.